Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2015 TMS Collegiate Table Tennis Championships from NCTTA, the National Collegiate Table Tennis Association. I'm Adam Bobrow, and with me is Han Xiao. How's it going, Han?
Pretty good. Excited for this doubles match that we're about to see.
Yeah, we got the men's doubles finals right here between Mississippi College and Texas Wesleyan on the left in the AB shirts. The players from Texas Wesleyan University, Feng on the right from the former Chinese national team, and his teammate Bruno Ventura dos Anjos. And from Mississippi College, we've got Cheng and Zhang Tong, who you saw play just earlier today on table one. And before we get into the match, which will be a best-of-5 singles, I'd like to acknowledge our outstanding sponsors, TMS. That's TMS International, handling all TV and commercial rights on behalf of the ITTF, International Table Tennis Federation, and National Collegiate Table Tennis Association. Yola for the champion in Han, featuring the new 200S competition table. Doublefish supplying the official ball of these championships. They are the marrow of tradition. Pep Pod, the official nutritional energy of NCTTA. Bring out your inner amazing. Visit them on the web at www.peppod.com. Use promo code PODTT40 on your next order. We've got Gerfloor, the flooring group that brought you TerraFlex, and it's exclusive flooring for all international world table tennis competitions, and of course, our wonderful host city, which is in Wisconsin, by the way, in case anyone thought it was in Minnesota, which it is not. It's Eau Claire, Wisconsin. The unexpected Wisconsin, hashtag Capture EC.
That was a mouthful.
I was going to say, I mean, you look excited over there. I made it through, and we've got a great tournament here, professional quality, and this is, you know, Han, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. You've got the best collegiate players from all over the country, and in a country that attracts players from all over the world. The level of competition right on par, and in some cases even stronger than the U.S. National Championships.
Yeah, it's because we got so many foreign players, and the foreign players that we've imported are getting better and better in quality, I'd say. And
sort of like a U.S. Open, collegiate-aged U.S. Open.
Yeah, and it's great to have them in college table tennis. I think Mississippi College is a great example. It just kind of sprouted up in the last few years, and all these Chinese players are, 2,600 plus in level. It's great to be able to have some of our homegrown players get to the collegiate ranks and see them play against some of these internationals.
And the stands are filling up. It's definitely a show here. Texas Wesleyan, as we mentioned before, has been the China of collegiate table tennis. We've seen a lot of Texas Wesleyan matches, but in recent years, the uprise, the coming of Mississippi College and several other schools on the women's side, Princeton University, Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, in the men's doubles department, USC. I mean, there have been so many challengers to Texas Wesleyan in pretty much every event. The crowd, the stands is excited for a real rivalry match here. And let's talk about one player, the elephant in the room, despite not being as big or tall as some of the other players, the pen holder on the Texas Wesleyan team, Feng. So we were saying earlier, he's from the era possibly of Lu Guoliang, Lu Guozhang, you got Kong Linghui, and I heard he's in his late 30s right now.
Yeah, I believe he's 38.
38 years old.
Tal Leibovitz come over and tell me he's 38 years old, and Tal says he's got him beat out. Tal's the oldest player in the tournament. I think Razvan is a close second.
Wait, Tal's older than 38?
Yeah.
What does he eat?
Tal's 39.
He looks like he's 25.
Yeah, he's in real good shape too.
And we've started the best of 5 over the table flip right there. You can tell that he's used to being able to make it. We'll see how much he goes for it.
So according to Tal Leibovitz, Feng is the 3rd oldest player in the competition, according to Tal's unofficial records. Okay, he's gone around asking. But at age 38, he's still able to compete at a high level, although there was a lot of hype surrounding Feng before the tournament, and as soon as people found out that he was going to Texas Wesleyan, and a lot of players thought, well, he must be unbeatable, if he was on the Chinese national team. But he's played some competitions, and if one thing doesn't hold up, it's stamina for players who start getting older. Remember, you played the North American teams, the DC teams tournament, and towards the end of the tournament, he really started to fade and dropped a few matches against some quality opponents, but they were still matches that I think normally you would expect him to win. So we'll see throughout the tournament if Feng Zhe's stamina can hold up.
I just took a glance at that, but Cheng Li had a swing like you wouldn't believe for that backhand. I mean, if he swings half that hard and contacts the ball, it's probably still going to finish the point. Feng Zhe, on the other hand, a lot more passive play, a lot more blocking, control, redirecting, very specific on his serves and serve receives is how he probably keeps himself in the game.
Well, Feng Zhe just has such an effortless forehand, though. When he gets the opportunity, it's really a nice forehand. And that forehand flip as well. So dangerous over the table, especially penhold players. Sometimes you'd rather just push long to them and let them spin it up and play a rally with them, because over the table they can be so quick.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in doubles pairs with their penhold game over the table. And as far as age goes, in table tennis, you're looking a lot of players probably peak around 25, 26, depending on what country they're playing for. 38, way past the prime for many. Samsonov, 38 years old, just won the Qatar Open over Dmitry Ovcharov and had a match point against Zhang Jike in the German Open. But Samsonov, of course, is playing all the time for his profession, is not someone who's taken a break from the game for 10 years.
Yeah, that's a distinction, and Samsonov also plays a different style. I would say that he's always been a very smooth player, doesn't really need to move a whole lot, is really smart with his positioning, and just has really great control, so he wins a lot of points that way.
And look how effortless, like you said, that shot, inside-out forehand on 1 foot deep on the table to take the point, Feng Zhe.
It's an effortless forehand loop. He uses his body and his legs so well that it doesn't look like he's swinging that hard. Those are those solid fundamentals from years on the Chinese national team.
It's a strong way back into the point from deep off the table. Zhang, we saw Dos Anjos there with the strong play in the middle, and from way back in the forehand court, Zhang Tong able to really take some aggression and control the point. A little bit of that backhand chop block. Again, the mobility from Feng Zhe is going to be exploited out here. The Mississippi College players know that. They see that he's slower. He's not going to move quite as well.
And we saw how well Mississippi College exploits that with their placement the last match against another Texas Wesleyan team.
Step around again. It's the all or nothing, no tomorrow, inside-out forehand. Turns his back to the table. If it comes back, we'll still have a little bit of time just because it's doubles, but fascinating his body language and how relaxed he is out there. Heavy underspin serves, and despite Feng Zhe being the player of conversation, Dos Anjos really carrying his weight out there and arguably even carrying the weight of the team right now. Soft shot, but over the table. Cheng Li is strong, and it's the backhand. So much wrist and so much spin on that shot. Now it's 3 game points for Mississippi College. And they take it at the first opportunity, 11-7 over Texas Wesleyan's Feng Zhe and Bruno Ventura Dos Anjos.
Yeah, it's really interesting why this is a doubles team. It'd be interesting to find out what the reasoning was behind that, whether this is the strongest doubles team they could field, whether other players on the team already had chemistry and already had doubles pairs, and these are just sort of the newcomers. It'd be really interesting to find out, what was the reason behind this particular team.
For Texas Wesleyan?
Yeah.
Well, with the matchups, we saw Emil Santos and Jedi Bai, so there's sometimes a question of, are they splitting people up to make 2 relatively even teams? But you would think they'd want to take home the gold no matter what in the championship, so they're going to play their best 2. I don't know. Do you think they consider Feng Zhe their strongest player?
That's what I want to know is do they consider this their strongest doubles team?
And do they consider Feng Zhe individually their strongest player?
I would say they probably consider him and Santos. They probably consider Feng Zhe 1A and Santos 1B, I would say, in singles. But doubles is a completely different story.
Right.
Right. I would consider Feng Zhe. They probably consider Feng Zhe their strongest doubles player.
And then why not with Emil Santos? Do you think he's not the number 2 doubles?
My question is, you have one lefty on the team. You have Razvan Krejci on the team, who's also a very good doubles player. We watched him play doubles before, and doubles allows him to sort of mask a lot of the deficiencies he has nowadays as a singles player with his movement if he's in a lefty-righty situation. And that's an interesting question for me, why this team in particular. Does Texas Wesleyan actually believe that this is their strongest doubles team, and why? So it would be interesting to get the answer to that, because they have so many strong players.
And I think we can. On break at some point, we'll come back. A reason for everybody to stay tuned in the entire day. Any question you or any of us have can be answered now. So submit your questions. Hit us up on Facebook or the NCTTA page. Comments, I don't know if comments are disabled or not on the videos, but yeah, send us your questions if you have them. We have the resources at our fingertips. We'll try to get those answered for you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we've seen so far Feng Zhe just be a little bit sloppy on some of these 2 forehand flips in a row that he's missed.
And in the first game,
a lot. Is he under pressure to finish the point, or does he just not want to play long points? It's very strange for a high-level player to be making so many errors for his level. We've seen it. We've seen other players do sort of similar things, but for his perceived level, he's making a lot of errors quickly in the point.
Well, you can also understand the pressure he might feel as the slowest player, the least mobile player on the court, to finish the point quickly. The longer the rally gets, the more positioning will take advantage, and the more he's going to be pushed out of position, not able to recover.
Absolutely.
So I don't think he wants to have to take a second shot if he can avoid it. Finishing the point quickly, a good strategy as long as you can do it.
But you can see that he understands where he needs to be. As long as the ball's not too quick, he can get in position. I'm pretty sure he can hit 3 to 4 balls. And once he gets that forehand, it's just so hard to tell the direction, and it's just so effortless. It's pretty much points in the bag as soon as he gets that forehand in.
When you think of some of the more experienced, aged players that play penhold, Hudge won from Spain, Juanito as they call him.
Still going strong.
Yeah, you can't lob to that guy. I mean, he's just one more example of unpredictability in attacking games.
Still incredibly quick for his age. It's unbelievable how much court he can cover and how strong his forehand is.
Is there going to be a yellow card? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Dirty. Psychological. Was that Feng Zhe who did it? Feng Zhe, 38, but still up for the fight. Strong step around there. Zhang right on the body. I mean, not the strongest shot, but considering the placement of the ball and the fact that he took a forehand off it.
Yeah, really strong placement, and Mississippi College making it really difficult for Texas Wesleyan to win any of these rallies with their placement. And you can tell from Dos Anjos' body language too that he feels the pressure of, playing with such a highly regarded player. He's trying to be, just play solid and don't make too many mistakes. And he's been holding his own, I would say, in these first couple of games. He hasn't made a lot of loose mistakes. He's been keeping the ball on the table, attacking when he can.
Yeah, and a lot of players react differently to playing with someone of such stature and reputation. Outstanding shot, the follow-up, even with his teammate out in front of him, is able to play the forehand down the line. Difficult shot. Some people, when they're placed with top players, crumble under the pressure, they feel overwhelmed, and some people really bring their level up. They feel a sense of responsibility to play outside of their level. Smart play, Chung Lee taking it to the short side of the table right off the bounce, just a half stroke on the forehand wing.
So quick, it's really difficult to read where that's going. And he's so good at that particular shot. It's really one of his bread and butter shots, that little quick forehand loop off the bounce.
It's actually so smooth, it's almost as if he is buttering bread with that shot. I know I took that. You were about to say the same thing, but
absolutely.
I'd love to see this go deuce in the 5th. I don't think I'm alone in this. Right now it's back and forth, and it looks like we're going to be split if Texas Wesleyan continues with this game. Well-placed shot deep into the backhand corner, loaded with spin and low enough, taking away the Feng forehand step around. Mississippi fighting to make it a 2-0 rather than a 1-1. Well placed again, and they're running Feng around. That's what they need to do if they can stay in close and force the footwork of Feng to be put into play. It's going to be a challenge. And with the stands still full, it's 9-9, only in the second game in this best of 5. Texas Wesleyan players in the background.
Important. Texas Wesleyan does not want to go down 2-0 to a team as strong as Mississippi College.
Strong and young. Dos Anjos, I'm not sure the age of Dos Anjos, but I'm guessing it's older than the 2 on the other side of the table based on facial hair. Almost falling to the ground there, pulling a limbo move. Zhang fighting, that's 3 in a row for Mississippi College, and now they have a game point to go up 2-0.
Yeah, Feng really struggling in the rally when there's a lot of pace and spin coming at him.
So while it might have seemed crazy or even lazy or other words ending in "azy," for Feng we understand why he was trying to finish the points so early with those shots on the backhand corner.
Finish over the table early.
There it is.
A bit of a better point for Texas Wesleyan, getting on the front foot immediately.
Dos Anjos really delivering there with this strong loop to give his teammate a chance and sort of put the pressure on, making sure the ball was less likely to come back, and even if, it's going to be less threatening.
And the more I watch, the more I feel like the reasoning for this team is I think Texas Wesleyan does believe this is their strongest doubles team. Dos Anjos has been really impressive with this short game especially, has been really tight, been really solid, doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Speaking of which, looked like a good opportunity for Feng popped up a little bit. He was moving in quickly to get there for the inside-out shot over the table.
And honestly, Feng forehand flip has been really off so far. I'm not sure if it's something that Mississippi College is doing specifically or whether he's just not feeling comfortable with that shot.
Punch shot from Dos Anjos deep in the backhand corner, comes back long. That is a relief for Feng as he is barely able to cover that corner with this stretched out backhand. And again, this is a style that we saw essentially almost, I mean, it's sort of obsolete after Lu Goliang. Right over the table, traditional pen hold. Dos Anjos there to deliver and seal the deal, and now after 2 game points against them, it's a game point for Feng and Bruno Ventura Dos Anjos.
Try saying that name in full every time.
Without pausing a few times trying to read what's on the screen.
Yeah, that's correct.
Smart play from Cheng, slowing it up, spinning it from down low below the table out wide to the forehand side.
Dos Anjos is running back towards the backhand to recover.
Right. Cheng takes the extra second to see what his opponent is doing. Again, moment-to-moment decisions. Chess matches played in real time. One of the fastest reaction sports, if not the fastest reaction sport in the world. It's got to be way up there. It's a 3rd deuce point. The tension in the room builds, and it's only game 2. Missed receive, Texas Wesleyan with another game point to tie it up. Looked like it hit the thumb of Zhang on that receive.
Racket. I'm not sure whether he didn't read the bounce correctly or, it had a piece of something on the table. It looked like he was blaming something.
Beautiful counter deep back into the backhand court. That's a high pressure shot. That's right on the white of the line. That goes out, they lose the game, and if it's in, you can see what happens. Trouble for Feng to cover.
And that's where Zhang Tong does have a good backhand, is just blocking, counter punching.
That's right, you said it before, that's his game when it comes to the backhand. Smart play, Anjos playing the short side of the table. He's really delivering right now on the pressure shots. Spin, speed, and placement.
Attacking Zhang Tong's forehand rather than letting him just sit in the backhand corner and block. It's
another thing he brought
smart play
up.
After the last point, I think he realized that the placement on the last shot wasn't the best.
Right, and you'd mentioned before that the forehand from Zhang Tong is strong on the backhand corner, but not when the ball's played to the forehand side, interestingly enough.
Of course, everything's relative, but there you can see.
And that's the second time we've seen that drop it like it's hot shot from the backhand court.
And he's just so comfortable playing forehands from that corner. It's really amazing how different how much higher his confidence is hitting forehands from that corner.
Fifth deuce point. Dos Anjos now with the serve. The short side of the table from near the ground, and we saw something from Feng just there that we haven't seen, a slower, spinnier shot, a little more conservative instead of going for the outright kill, and it paid.
I think Feng is really slowing the game down a little bit, realizing that he needs to keep the ball on the table. And Dos Anjos really good under pressure there, made a good short serve, didn't let the ball come long.
Touch shot in a little closer to the net, and Zhang not able to complete after a marathon game. 16-14, we're tied up at one game each. It's becoming a match, Han.
Yeah, that last point, Zhang went for something outside of his comfort zone, went for a backhand loop. And it's not really his game. I think Cheng is a little bit frustrated. Looked a little bit frustrated with that last shot selection. So we'll see what adjustments the teams and their coaches are making here. Texas Wesleyan's team being coached by Mark Kaczynski, U.S. Olympian and many-time world team member.
Mark Kaczynski had one of my favorite NCTTA matches in history against Pierre-Luc Heinz, who's here, the Canadian player, deuce in the seventh. And the highlights, I mean, you could have an 8-minute highlight reel from that match, maybe 10 or I think there's a 12
like that's true with 80% of Pierre-Luc Heinz's matches, though.
it's funny how that goes. He's a fighter. You never know when he's going to hit the ground or around the net shot or something.
Entertaining player because he himself also, he's not a power player, so there's a lot of rallies. It's just really entertaining to watch. So. All right, we're starting the third game here, men's doubles final. Momentum on Texas Wesleyan's side from the end of the second game when they were able to even the match. They pick up right where they left off. Dos Anjos really getting more and more aggressive and comfortable as this match progresses. And Feng just serve suddenly has become a problem for Mississippi College. Didn't really see that early in the first game and even early in the second game. But towards the end of the second game, we saw Dos Anjos with numerous opportunities to attack the third ball.
That serve toss is a little bit low. Sometimes it can help a player control the serve and keep it short, giving an unfair advantage. Yeah, and we're seeing footwork. We're seeing expected to see more service on the receive. All those years of experience, one thing is the serve and the serve receive, but especially the serve itself.
Doubles also takes away some serves that you normally perform in singles.
Right, only half the table.
It's the second huge swing backhand that we've seen so far.
Right, last time I remember was just the wind, but that one just destroyed it. And that time it's Feng who's showing the quick footwork, able to get up. And even though it was over the net, it wasn't a careless flat kill shot. It was a spin shot out to the open court. You can hear the difference in sound. That crack is the flat hit when it vibrates all the way through to the wood of the blade. Last one was a little quieter. If you want to hear an interesting sound, you can listen to Dos Anjos spinning the ball on his fingernails. Do you do that one, Han?
So I can't. I can barely, catch. I can't do the back to forward and switch the ball between the sides of my racket and catch the ball with my fingernails and spitting on. I'm just really
things that matter in the so. And a little bit shot. The placement and keeping the spin. Look at the score right after losing game. Really pulling out game 2. Did not look like shot we've seen in just a bit.
Flip kill success rate has got to be well under 50%.
Well, this game, his success rate on almost everything is way above that. But,
but if we start getting close games again, as we saw in the first and second game, he missed at least 2 or 3 flips. Honestly, the biggest difference.
That's, so much, but it has been in this game. Even a step behind the table, Feng not trying to finish the point, putting some trust into Anjos, who's shown time and time again that he can deliver on the attacks and the placement.
And Anjos has really delivered so far this match. That's an amazing touch shot over the table, a little bit inside out, misdirection.
Beautiful side swipe, just caressing the ball, and you could see from the opponent having to jump back and try to play it from behind his body.
Yeah, completely off balance.
That's the first vocalization I've heard from Feng. Nice little sound there. It's always good to know that despite playing in the Chinese national team during some of its great years, you still care a lot about this match. You might think some of these players come back and it's like, oh, what does this matter? It's just college table tennis, but no, it's not. You can hear that he's playing with pride and he's playing for something and he really wants to win this. Beautiful shot.
There's a better fit from Feng.
11-4, and that ball had to be about net height when it was hit. Look at the smiles from Zhang Tong. Just incredible forehand shot. That's the type of stuff you expect to see when you hear that someone played on the Chinese national team with Liu Guoliang and all the legends of the 90s.
Just from watching Feng play, you can tell what's natural and what's, from years and years of training. You can tell that the forehand flip, when he was in training, was probably something that was more reliable. But that forehand loop is just so natural. You probably could stop training for 10 years and still be able to have that nice, effortless forehand loop and direct it, pretty much wherever he wants. Mississippi College players still getting a little bit of coaching from their teammate Zhang. Just they've got to be trying to come up with something because of the way that last game went, because they're a longer game break than usual. Usually they're pretty quick about coming back to the table, but both of the Mississippi College players were sitting on the ground taking coaching between games there.
And something I just want to do for the fans watching in Brazil, quick apology, Dos Anjos. There are a lot of players here from Brazil, so I went and checked with one of our Portuguese speakers, one of our Brazilian players, and it is Dos Anjos. Spinny shot right into the backhand. Look how puzzled Feng looks, just staring at his rubber, wondering why the block went down into the net. Do we know if he's using the Chinese Hurricane on the forehand?
I would say most likely.
So
it's hard to tell from this sort of distance, but I would imagine so.
If I wasn't looking at the screen, I would swear that was Justin Huang out there. That Chola Chu, almost verbatim. Maybe they're from the same city where they teach the Chola Chu.
Could be.
Could be. Anjos staying pinned on the corner, playing the short side of the table. Again, the abs on that shirt really coming into play.
He really likes that down the line forehand. Seen it several times now as his go-to attack.
And that time he was jammed up a little bit. Looked like he was going to break over to the middle of the table
Still
more.
kind of weird bounce. I don't think he was completely ready for the way that ball bounced on the table.
Definitely. And how does that first backhand rip even come back? Fast-paced block right back onto the table. And it's looking like, it's still early to tell, the first towel break of the game. It's looking like this could go to a fifth and deciding what we asked for final game.
And complete reversal of the last game. Texas Wesleyan coming out a little bit flat. And Mississippi College coming out looking inspired.
And you can hear it, the in-sync Cho right there. That's right, it was an 11-4 victory in the last game. So as far as momentum goes, so much is changing from game to game. When the receiver changes, you change sides of the table, but most importantly, the receiver changed, the pairing.
I'm not sure why Feng changed serves this game either. He changed back to a forehand serve. He's been using some of his backhand serves the last couple of games, which created a lot of opportunities for Dos Anjos to attack. But this game so far he's switched back, and I don't think it's been as effective.
There it is, the step around, a bit of spin, but still a bit of crack through that shot. Long way to go. We've seen bigger comebacks in modern history. Although this would be pretty amazing from down 7 or from 1-7. Anjos, strong enough shot, but most importantly his placement on both sides. He's comfortable to really pick a spot on the table and wreak some havoc on the opponents. And now a heavy underspin serve, half long to the middle-ish part on the cross-court serve.
You can never sleep on these experienced players because they'll come back out of nowhere. And you'll think that they've given up on the game completely.
Right.
They'll win a couple points here, a couple points there. You'll make some mistakes, and then you're like you're tied. You've given up your lead. But
it's a fairly balanced match. I mean, what is a comfortable lead? Is there such a thing? You know?
Yeah, I mean, Mississippi College right now, we've seen in their last few matches how focused they are when they need to be. They're not the type to give up too many free points.
That's an unusual shot selection from Feng.
You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to inside out slide it and place it right on the backhand corner. But it's, as you can see, a high risk shot, especially when you're not reading the spin on the serve perfectly.
Not only that, I mean, in addition, that's absolutely right. In addition, when you're showing that you're going to do it the whole time, the opponent's going to have a chance to set up for the shot. If there's an element of surprise there, it's going to be much more troublesome.
I think there's just an element of desperation. Let's just try something and see if it sticks kind of thing. I don't think it's I perceive that he uses very commonly, just judging by the motion.
And the running, swiping backhand, just sort of a backhand swat. I feel like there's a term for that. It reminded me of the Parison 1 foot, the leaping flamingo. I don't know, flying drag. There's some combination of a gerund verb and an animal with wings. That's all I remember. That's pretty useful.
Maybe you can make a generator online that can come up with different permutations of
That'd be great.
I
think that's actually...
The next time you need a name for a strange table tennis move, just go to your generator and...
Yeah, gerund verb, flying winged animal.
Yeah.
That combination is sure to work. but it's 2 game points that have been fought off so far. Beautiful shot down the line. Anjos stepping in, and they are so cozy and so close in that backhand corner, the 2 right-handed players. Really impressive that Anjos is able to pull out these shots in such close, tight quarters. Now Anjos with the serve against 4 game points. And it's that side swiping underspin shot from Feng that has not landed twice from 2 different places on the table. 11-6. And we're going to a 5th and deciding game.
As strange as it sounds, for Texas Wesleyan, Anjos has been the stronger player, in my opinion.
From start to finish.
I haven't seen a lot of his play, but judging by this performance, I'm really excited to see him in the other events. I think he could really make a strong showing in those events as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, and little fun fact for those out there, while some of the games look pretty imbalanced here, each team has scored exactly 40 points so far in this match. So if we want to see a deuce in the 5th, if history is any predictor of the future, we are looking at a tight and unpredictable 5th game here. And of course, when one team scores 5 points, we're going to be switching to see the other combination of receive. So that'll balance everything out in case one serve and receive combination created the imbalances that we saw in the last 2 games.
And normally in this situation, you'd say, "Oh, Feng is so experienced that you'd probably bet on him to pull his team through in a deciding game." But he has been kind of erratic so far this match. You don't know when he's going to make a great forehand, and you don't know when he's going to miss 2 forehand flips in a row. It's just really hard to tell.
I think it's pretty fair to say we don't know.
Yeah, it's anyone's game.
Spinny shot deep on the table and high right into the body. Dos Anjos with a very uncomfortable shot trying to inside out it as it kicked up towards his face.
I'm surprised Texas Wesleyan hasn't made that adjustment to not let Zhang Tong start the point out of his backhand corner. There we go. There we are. That's a lucky shot, but
were you saying that to them?
Telepathy.
Amazing. Han Xiao, anyone wants to know your future, come on over.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right?
And that's quick work too. I mean, that was like Ethernet speed right there on your telepathy.
Yeah.
And that's also unusual. Such a high toss serve in doubles for such control.
I think Feng realizes that he needs to pull out anything that he has now.
Right, all the tricks and years of experience coming out in Game 5.
And he usually does the high toss serve in singles, so it's interesting to see it coming out now.
Jammed up a little bit in the back corner with his teammate.
And that's a smart play from Mississippi College. You don't need to go for broke. Just nice, solid spins right into the body. Really difficult to deal with in doubles, especially when you have 2 righties. It's really hard to get out of your partner's way after you deal with that body.
Yep. One interesting thing to think about is the last time it was this combination, Mississippi had the strong advantage. So if coming into the 5-point mark, Texas Wesleyan can stay close and play more like they did in the other combination, they should be able to pull it out. But again, who knows how people play under pressure. That was something else. Feng way out of his comfort zone, just sort of arching his back, leaning forward to get that near the net and still completing the shot to tie it up.
Yeah, but you could tell that he also took a little bit off of that flip compared to some of the ones he was trying before. I think he recognizes that he can't afford to make too many loose errors this game.
And that's smart. A player that is not versatile, not able to adapt. I think there's a quote in here, a Darwinian, not survival of the fittest, but he who is most able to adapt, something along those lines. And that's what Feng is showing us at the age of 38. He is adapting to the play of his opponents out here. 2 in a row, inside out, little bit of side spin, but he's picking his places on the table and showing us that adapting and the versatility in his game.
Anjos' service game has been really impressive to me this whole match. Haven't seen him really serve long accidentally. Been keeping everything real tight, setting up Feng. There's another one. His service game has just been so impressive in setting Feng up.
Right, that is often the unsung hero in doubles, the person serving. The glory shot is when you see Feng, who's doing a great job of hitting sort of 80% right now and just placing it. But you're right, Anjos is the one who's setting up the shot. And this is what teamwork is all about.
And it's so hard in doubles to do that because you don't have all the tools that you have in singles on your serve. Your serve is kind of exposed as a right-hander, exposed to the other team. You don't have the benefit of, you know, kind of slightly hiding it from your opponent's vision, as some of the players tend to do.
Right.
So really, it's very difficult to do what Anjos just did, which is 2 straight points where the opponent just kind of misread his serve.
And again, this is unexpected right now. Mississippi had the advantage coming into the 5-point mark with the setup. They won last game 11-6 with the same setup they started.
Zhang wants a timeout for Mississippi College right now. I'm not sure his teammates can see him. I think now they do.
Their eye contact was made. Yeah, he's on his feet, and he's well aware that it is now or never. This is the time. A 4-point deficit in Game 5. The final game is possibly too dangerous.
And the interesting thing is with a lot of these Chinese imports, we've seen that the knock against the Chinese team used to be, oh, they have great fundamentals, but mentally they're not the best. They'll crack under pressure if you can just keep the game close. That was a lot of the knock against Chinese players. And although we've seen the Chinese national team has kind of overcome that barrier, they're much more professionalized now, and they have sports psychologists and all of these staff members. But when you go down to the provincial team and you go down to sort of the players that don't get the opportunity to make it to the national team, a lot of those players still have the same issues that have plagued Chinese players in the past, because they don't get to play a lot of competition. A lot of their competition is within the team, or at most they'll play a few, league matches.
Right.
But they're not playing at the highest levels, and so some of those players still do have those mental issues. So it's with a lot of the Chinese imports, we still see it. If you can keep the game close, if you can put them under pressure, they still play well, but the level drops quite a bit.
Well, we'll see how the timeout affects the Mississippi College team. Cheng now with the serve, back from the timeout. Heavy underspin, half long. We haven't seen Anjos having that much trouble on a receive just yet.
And maybe just a little lack of focus coming out of the timeout.
Right, sometimes icing the kicker, as they call it, breaking the rhythm.
Yeah, especially if someone's not a natural touch player, it's more just training. But just Anjos' serve once again. And they've gotten the benefit of having Anjos serve 2 rounds in a row because of the side switch.
Oh, that's right. Depending on how the points go, it could either happen or be the opposite. Soft block. Change of pace for Mississippi.
And that's one of the first serves that Anjos has got let get away from him.
That's right. It seemed, I guess that would explain why we got a surprise sort of off-balance block in the body from Feng.
He is ready to attack.
And earlier this tournament, we saw Mississippi College demonstrating that they can change the pace and really break the rhythm of the opponent. And it's coming out here a little bit. If they get any loose ends, anything a little sloppy from Anjos on the serve, which again, as you said, has been one of the most impressive elements of this match for Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah.
I mean, Mississippi's closing in.
And this is crunch time here. Mississippi College down 2. Just trying to do a little too much there, Anjos.
Right.
Why go for that? It's a good quality push from the opponent. Why go for something like that? Especially when you have Feng on your team. Just drop the ball back.
And an unlikely way to stay in the point, rather. Feng way off the table, countering. Anjos running around in the back court in the counter-to-counter exchange. It is now 7 points each, tied up in the 5th. We'll see if the Mississippi College, since the time, 4 of the last 5. And that's the first time we've seen Anjos forced, a bit closer to the net. You could see his body right up against the back of the table.
I think he was surprised by the banana flip off a pretty long serve, honestly.
Yeah, it's an unusual shot off a long serve. 2 in a row, and Anjos, who's been playing clutch throughout this entire match, has not been able to deliver in the last 3 or so points.
That's honestly, that last was just nerves. There's no other explanation for it. That's a shot that he should never miss.
Right. No problem, buddy. We're still in this. This isn't over. And confidence, the comfort. Look at that touch shot, left it right up near the net, completely taking away the third ball opportunity there. Zhang waiting, I guess, on the backhand corner, had to come rushing back in, and as you said earlier, playing the push shot when you're rushing into the table, very difficult to be effective in the least.
Yeah, Zhang likes to anticipate that attack, and then if you can keep that serve return close to the net,
he's dead in the water.
Rushes back into the table and provides you with an easy opportunity.
And Feng there to seal the deal, a 1-point game.
And there again.
And we're tied up at 9 points each.
That is an unbelievable return from Anjos. Great recovery and great support from his teammate Feng. He just used the so much spin that when Zhang Tong went in to return the push back, the ball had heavy underspin side spin on it. You could see the ball just swerve off to the side after it went into the net.
We'll see how the difference is in experience. 3 of the 4 players on the table right now brought up through the ranks, Chinese training, one of which is 38 years old, and him and his teammate have just scored 2 points, and it's going to be the narrowest of margins for the victors in this match. For the champions, Texas Wesleyan, is the last 2 serves that either team will see. And in the push play, well placed into the middle, they saw Zhang a little bit out of position, and he sort of hopped back. It was unusual footwork for him. That's his favorite spot for the forehand loop.
Well, they brought him out to the forehand first.
That's a smart setup. Combination chip point for Texas Wesleyan's Anjos and Feng.
And Anjos has the serve.
And it's a deuce in the 7th game. Sometimes you just got to put it out there, hon. You just got to ask for it. Just got to say it out loud. It's the secret.
Ask and she'll receive, right?
I guess so. I would like to see a backhand around the net shot on a cartwheel. Don't let me, from Feng, by the way.
Careful what you wish for.
No regrets. Deuce in the 5th game. What a roller coaster of a match. Cheng now with the serve.
Really,
heavy spin shot.
Really solid opening from Cheng. That's a smart play. You don't want to go for too much there. Really quality opening.
And he's shown us time and time again that he's willing to do that he can wait for the ball to drop low and just slow it down and do whatever he has to create the most threatening and even awkward shot.
And great placement too.
Right. And that is it. Mississippi was trailing Game 5 the whole game until the late parts, and then it turned back around in 12-10 in the 5th game. The men's doubles national champions, Mississippi College, Cheng and Zhang Tong. What a match.
A really exciting match, and at the end, great composure from Mississippi College and great placement wins them the match.
And a real fight from Dos Anjos and Feng.
They had a match point as well, a championship point. Couldn't bring it home, and 3 straight points from Mississippi College closes the deal.
Well, thank you to both teams for delivering an outstanding match for the spectators. I think we've got a full day of play here, and it's just getting started as the doubles have finished. So, Han, it's been fun, but I'm excited for what the rest of the day has to offer.